Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's going on? So I was watching just randomly last night, a little bit after Merlot Fridays. I was just, sitting back and watching Ugas. I was watching a few different fights, but I watched Ugas versus Ray Robinson, who is a southpaw, very, long fighter. It's about 5'10", 5'10 and a half, 78-inch arm reach. And, of course, this guy isn't Errol Spence Jr. or anything like that, but he's a southpaw and he has some good coaching. He's coached by Jerron Ennis' father, Bozzy Ennis, who is a really good coach, got a lot of game. You could just tell, he's a very good teacher of the sweet science. And he was telling Ray Robinson some good stuff in the corner, but, sometimes it's only so much coaching and information that you can give a fighter, and sometimes it's only so far that they can take that knowledge, with their skill set. But I was watching that fight, man, and I was just blown away by the technique of Yordenis Ugas, his boxing intellect. Just looking at how cerebral Ugas is in the ring, I think Ugas is top 10, one of the best pure counterpunchers in the sport of boxing. When you just looking at just that category alone, just pure counterpunching ability, being able to put yourself in the perfect position to make a guy miss and make him pay, and always throw the right shots to land, whether they have, the most power on them, whether it's a kill shot or just a shot to get your opponent's attention or just a shot to score. Yordenis Ugas is very, very skilled in the counterpunching department. And I love his patience. He has a really good jab. I was just blown away by how he broke Ray Robinson down little by little. The first couple of rounds was a battle. You could tell that Ugas was taking control of the fight early, but the first couple of rounds, Ray Robinson had a little bit of, he had some energy, some vigor, and, he was throwing punches and looking confident and looking like he was in the fight. And he landed some good stuff on Yordenis Ugas. I did see that Yordenis Ugas can get touched with the jab, straight left from the southpaw position. In my opinion, with the reach and the physical dimensions and advantages that Ray Robinson had over Ugas, I kind of felt like he fought the wrong style. I don't think his jab was as consistent and as constant as it should have been. I don't think, he was really using his frame to the best that he could. However, when you got a guy like Ugas in there who is a very dangerous counterpuncher, sometimes it can be hard to get off first. Because, to be honest with you, you're playing directly into the hands of a skilled counterpuncher when you are first. They want you to throw a shot so they can make you miss and expose you and make you pay. They want you to be in a position where you're exposed, where your defense is down, and they can just pick and choose. And when you got a guy like Ugas who can compute shit and calculate shit real fast, it don't take him long. It seems like he already know before you throw your shot, he already know where that opening is going to be and where he want to attack. But even then, if let's say you throw a shot that he probably didn't expect, it's like he's quick on his toes and on his thoughts on where I should attack this guy as soon as that opening is there. And the opening can just be there for a split second and he finds it. Another thing that I love about Yordenis Ugas is his right hand. Yordenis Ugas has a very crafty right hand. It is sneaky. It is dangerous. It's powerful. It's calculated. He has a very educated right hand. And what I mean by that, that shit comes at you from every angle. In that fight versus Ray Robinson, I saw Yordenis Ugas throw a mean ass straight right multiple times throughout the fight. I saw him throw that sneaky overhand behind the ear, the same shit that he was hitting Manny Pacquiao with all fucking night. I saw him throw a mean straight right to the body. I saw him throw like a lead right uppercut that kind of goes to the body, but if you duck down low enough, that bitch will hit you in the head. You know, I saw him throw like some shit, you know what I'm saying? Not the sneaky overhand right that he hit you with behind the ear, but like that Marcos Maidana shit where he kind of aimed that bitch like that. You know what I'm saying? He was throwing that bitch, and that bitch was landing like on the money. I'm like, God damn. You know what I'm saying? I remember seeing this fight, but this the first time. It's different when you go back and you watch a fight and you're dissecting it and you're looking for certain things. And I was really I'm like, God damn, this dude, his right hand is dangerous as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Because half the time you don't see it coming because it's oftentimes a counter shot when you're exposed. You know, and with him having that Cuban background, being a Cuban fighter and just having those foundational technical skills that most Cuban fighters have, mixed with the fact that he is also aggressive as well, because keep in mind, Ugas is a great counterpuncher, but he's not your typical counterpuncher. This dude is coming forward while he counterpunching. You know what I'm saying? Just like how Canelo do. You know, and I'm not saying Ugas is Canelo, but that's what Canelo do. Canelo is a phenomenal counterpuncher, and he counters while walking forward. You know what I'm saying? And that shit dangerous. It's like it puts so much pressure on a guy because he's one of the bigger welterweights in the sport of boxing. I mean, you can look at Jaron Ennis, Errol Spence, and Yordenis Ugas. They're probably the biggest welterweights. You know what I'm saying? Virgil Ortiz. These guys are like physically imposing. And Ugas he's just a sturdy guy. So you have this physically imposing guy walking forward, putting physical and mental pressure on you. And then, I mean, half the time the pressure that he's putting on you is not even coming from punches. It's just him cutting the ring out, being in your face, waiting on you to throw a shot. And if you don't throw a shot, he is willing to be first. You know, he knows how to throw trap shots. That's another thing that I saw a lot in that fight. Trap shots. You know, he'll throw like a jab, like a half-ass jab, just to get you to have a reaction. And then as soon as you open up, he can either counter you with the jab or he'll throw something else. He'll throw that right hand in with variation. You know what I'm saying? His left hook ain't bad neither, but his right hand is really his bread and butter. Yordenis Ugas, that right hand is very educated, and that bitch can hit you from any angle. You know what I'm saying? And he don't have the most power, but he got enough power to sit your ass down. And if he can hit you with the right shot at the right time, he will sit your ass down. I don't care who you is. You know what I'm saying? But, man, I really appreciate the skill of Yordenis Ugas, and I think this fight versus Errol Spence is going to be a hell of a fight. This ain't going to be no easy fight, y'all. This shit is going to be a hell of a fight. And Yordenis Ugas, he fought for this fight. This dude, day in, day out, he fought for this fight. He wanted this shit. He been wanting to fight Errol Spence. Now you finally get that opportunity with 3 titles on the line. He can become the first Cuban fighter ever to hold 3 titles. This man can accomplish history. He can make history, achieve greatness. He understands what's at stake, and that's a very dangerous fighter when you got a guy who already has the raw ability and skills, but mentally he's there. He understands what's at stake. You know, he knows what type of fighter Errol Spence is. you know. And I'm pretty sure Earl, being a very calculated guy, he know what Ugas bring to the table. Earl be watching and paying attention to what be going on, you know. And of course, Derrick James as well. I'm pretty sure they gonna have a great game plan for Ugas. But this not gonna be no easy fight. And it's sad that, you know, a lot of people, of course, we want to see Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, but you know, I think the more people like try to, like if when you call Errol Spence some type of cherry picker, or say he's ducking Terrence Crawford, or say this fight is trash, this is not the fight you want to see. To be honest with you, all you really doing is just like doing a disservice to Yordenis Ugas, discrediting Yordenis Ugas. And it's sad, because if you really pay attention, think about it. This dude Ugas really is on a crazy ass win streak right now. If you take away that controversial loss to Sean Porter, this dude done won like 15 fights in a row versus credible guy. Like, he's been putting on some really good performances, and he's coming off the biggest win of his career versus the legend Manny Pacquiao as the underdog. And he's very skilled at fighting southpaws. He's very familiar with southpaws. I think Ugas has fought like 5 or 6 southpaws in his career, and he beat them all. You know what I'm saying? Man, this dude is dangerous. And I think Ugas is a threat to Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. Anybody at welterweight, not just Errol Spence. I think, because you know Terrence Crawford is a southpaw. I think Ugas is a threat to Terrence Crawford. He knows how to fight southpaws. This dude, he just know what the fuck to do when he fighting southpaws. Errol Spence gonna have to be on his game in that fight versus Yordenis Ugas. I'm telling you. And I know he will. I know Errol Spence gonna bring it. He gonna be sharp as ever. You know what I'm saying? But that's gonna be a hell of a fight, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Like, you know, are you one of those people that look at this fight and say, you know, man, this ain't the fight I wanted to see. Errol Spence gonna just run through Ugas. Oh, he's the lesser competition. Or are you really like paying attention to what's going on and looking at this fight stylistically, looking at how successful Ugas has been versus southpaws, and, you know, just stylistically looking at the fact that Errol Spence is at his best a come forward guy with a great jab and sets up everything behind a jab, and you're fighting a very good counterpuncher with awkwardness but skill and technique and slickness as well. Like, are you really paying attention to the matchup and what this shit could turn out to be? Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Contender regime boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.